So nurses use sterile gloving for different procedures, such as putting in Foley catheters or doing sterile dressing changes. There's a couple important things to remember when you're putting on sterile gloves. The first is you need to make sure that you or your patient don't have any kind of latex allergies. If you do, you want to make sure you're absolutely using gloves that are latex free. So that's something you always want to make sure to verify with your patient if they have any kind of allergies, especially, like I said, to latex. Before you put your sterile gloves on too, you want to make sure you've got your sleeves rolled up, that you don't have any watches on that are going to get in the way, that you aren't wearing any rings that are going to catch on anything. Those things all need to be removed before you put on your sterile gloves. I've got a pair of sterile gloves right here. I'm going to go ahead and using a 7.5, and we're going to go over how to put on sterile gloves. All right, so once I have my sterile gloves out of my package, I'm going to go ahead and open them up. Once you open them up, you're going to go ahead and see that there are 2 flaps on the inside, one on the right, one on the left. These flaps are going to be used for you to place your hands underneath them and go ahead and open up the sterile gloves. The purpose of these flaps is so that you don't place your hands inside of the field, because what you have inside is a sterile field, and that's going to make sure that your gloves are in fact still sterile. So you're going to take each hand and go ahead and stick them underneath these flaps and then open them up. While you're doing this, you want to keep in mind that the 1-inch border on this is not sterile. So what that means is that I can touch the 1-inch area all around this, and I'm going to want to do that to go ahead and unfold this flap so that it doesn't continue to fall back down on me in my field. Once I've opened up the gloves, I want to go ahead and identify I have a right glove and a left-sided glove. What you want to do is you go ahead and your dominant hand first is the one that you're going to want to go ahead and put the glove on first. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the glove up. The way I'm going to do this, though, is I'm going to go ahead and use my left hand. If you'll notice right here, I'm going to pick up on the inside of it. This part will not be sterile. I do not want to touch anything that's sterile. I'm going to go ahead and kind of slide my thumb under my palm, and I'm going to slide this glove on. I want to make sure that this hand that is not sterile is only touching the inside portion to pull down. Once I have one sterile glove on, I'm going to go ahead and cup my hands and cup underneath this flap so that this way I'm only touching sterile to sterile. This outside part is not sterile. I'll go ahead again, stick my hand in. And once I have this on, if I didn't have very good success with getting it on, I can go ahead and use my sterile hand to touch all of this and pull it back on and to straighten up any issues or any places I was having any difficulties.
One thing you want to keep in mind is that a sterile object that's held below your waist becomes contaminated, so you always want to keep your hands above your waist.
So once you get a hang of how to do this, it's really not complicated at all, but I can encourage everybody enough to go ahead and continue to practice at home with the sterile gloves that were given to you in your kit. This is a skill that students tend to struggle with, so don't let something as easy as putting on a pair of sterile gloves be something that you're having a difficult time with when you can go at home and practice. And as always, if you have any questions, you can consult your clinical skills book.